Okay, we're in the book of Nahum. Now, this is a prophet. He is speaking towards Nineveh, which is Assyria. This is during his time. Israel had already been, I guess, taken captive. So people think it's towards. Some people think it's towards Jerusalem, and Nineveh is just a kind of a example towards them, but it's towards Nineveh. It's the burden of Nineveh, the book of the vision of Nahum, the Elkoshot. It's not the 3 chapters, so this won't be too long, but just to give you an idea, but it's mainly towards the Assyrians, which they was defeated by the Babylonians, of course. But he says, God is a jealous, and the Lord revengeth, and the Lord revengeth, and is furious, and the Lord will take vengeance on his adversaries, and he reserveth wrath for his enemies. The Lord is slow to anger, and great in power, and will not at all acquit the wicked. The Lord hath his way in the whirlwind and in the storm, and the clouds are the dust of his feet. He rebuketh the sea, and maketh it dry, and drieth up all the rivers. Bashan languisheth, and Carmel, and the flower of Lebanon languisheth. The mountains quake at him, and the hills melt, and the earth is burned at his presence. Yea, the world and all that dwell therein. Who can stand before his indignation? And who can abide in the fierceness of his anger? His fury is poured out like fire, and the rocks are thrown down by him. The Lord is good, a stronghold in the day of trouble, and he knoweth them that trust in him. But with an overrunning flood he will make an utter end of the place thereof, and darkness shall pursue his enemies. Why do you imagine against the Lord? He will make an utter end. Affliction shall not rise up the second time. For while they be folded together as thorns, and while they are drunken as drunkards, they shall be devoured as stubble fully dry. There is one come out of thee that imagineth evil against the Lord, a wicked counselor. Now, I guess this is talking about the king of Assyria. Thus saith the Lord, though they be quiet, and likewise many, thus shall they be cut down, when he shall pass through. Though I have afflicted thee, I will afflict thee no more. For now I will break his yoke from off of thee, and will burst thy bonds in sunder. And the Lord hath given a commandment concerning thee, that no more of thy name be sown. Out of the house of thy gods will I cut off the graven image, and the molten image, and will make thy grave, for thou art vile. Behold upon the mountains the feet of him that bringeth good tidings, that publisheth peace. Got tongue twisted. O Judah, keep thy solemn feast before thy vows, for the wicked shall no more pass through thee. He is utterly cut off. So that's talking about Jerusalem. You know, and that will happen, but I mean, I think he's concerning that with the Syrians, because they harassed them, but they never could get them, and they was destroyed by the Babylonians, of course. He says, for the Lord hath turned away the excellency of Jacob as the excellency of Israel, for the emptiers have emptied them out, and marred their vine branches. So he's talking about the Babylonians going to take over Israel. The shield of his mighty man is made red, and valiant men are in scarlet. The chariot shall be with flaming torches in the day of his preparation, and the fir tree shall be terribly shaken. The chariots shall rage in the streets, and they shall jostle one against another. In the broad ways they shall seem like torches, and they shall run like the lightnings. But Nineveh is of old like a pool of water. Yet they shall flee away. Stand, stand, shall they cry, but none shall look back. Take ye the spoil of the silver, and take the spoil of the gold, for there is none end of the store and glory out of the pleasant furniture. She is empty and void and waste, and her heart melteth, and the knees smite together. And much pain is in all the loins, and the faces of them gather blackness. So this is against Assyria. Behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts. I will burn her chariots in a smoke, and the sword shall devour thy young lions, and I'll cut off thy prey from the earth, and the voice of the messengers shall no more be heard. Woe to the bloody city, it is full of lies and robbery, the prey departeth not. Because of the multitude of the whoredoms of the well-favored harlot, the mistress of witchcraft, that selleth nations through her whoredoms, and families through her witchcraft, behold, I am against thee, saith the Lord of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and will show the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And it shall come to pass that all that look upon thee shall flee from thee, and say, Nineveh is laid waste, who will bemoan her? Whence shall I seek comforters for her? Yet she was carried away, she went into captivity, her young children also were dashed to pieces at the top of all the streets, and they cast lots for her honorable men, and her great men were bound in chains. Thou also shalt be drunken, thou shalt be hid, thou also shalt seek strength because of the enemy. Thy shepherds slumber, O king of Assyria, thy nobles that shall dwell in the dust. Thy people is scattered upon the mountains, and no man gathereth them. There is no healing of thy bruise, thy wound is grievous. All that hear the bruit of thee shall clap the hands over thee, for upon whom hath not thy wickedness passed continually? Now Jonah went to Nineveh and prophesied against them, and they changed. So I guess as the years go by, they turned back to their old ways and didn't pass down what Jonah had told them. So that was towards the Nineveh and the Assyrians. And that is Nahum.